Hello friends, in this video we are going to see how to install the DHCP server and how to configure it. So this is Abhijit Power. Welcome to this video. So we will start with the installation and configuration of DHCP server in Windows Server 2012 R2. So first click on the server manager icon, then go to manage, click on add roles and features, click on next button, select role based or feature based installation, click next. Select the server. So my server name is test server. Then click next. Now you can see the DHCP server option. Tick mark DHCP. Click on add features. Click next. Next. Click next. And then click on install. So now the DHCP server installation is going on. It will hardly take, you can say, half or 1 minute. And once the installation is over, then we have to proceed for the post installation configuration, and then we will configure the DHCP for different things. So what actually we are going to look after is, in DHCP server configuration we will see how to create a new scope or address pool through which we can assign the IP address to the client machines inside our system or inside our network. Then how to add the exceptions, that is how to add the IP address which can be accepted from that particular pool. How to reserve some IP addresses for some clients, that is some specific IP address that we want to, you can say, reserved for some particular devices or specific devices. So how to add the reservations. So all these three things we are going to see in the DHCP server configuration. So you can see now the installation is completed. You will click on close. Now you have to just click on the flag icon. You can see the configuration required for DHCP server, complete DHCP configuration. Click here, say commit, and click on close. So now the DHCP installation is completed. Now we have to configure it. Click on tools. Now you can see the option DHCP available. Click on DHCP. I will maximize it. Then expand the test server, that is our server name. Expand IPv4. Now right click IPv4 and you can see option called as a new scope. So click on new scope, click on next, type the scope name. For example, I will say new scope 1. So I have given some name for this scope. If you want to add some description, you can add some description to understand for which purpose we have created this particular scope. Click on next. Now you can see we can give the scope now or the address pool from which the IP addresses will be assigned to the client when they request for the IP address. So I will give the IP address range from 192.168.10.2. So this is my start IP, and I want to assign the IP address to the client up to 100. So all the systems which are connected inside my network will be assigned the IP address which can be between 192.168.10.2 to it will be 200. So it may be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, anything between 2 to 100. And then click on next. Then it is asking for exclusion. Exclusion is nothing but from the pool which we have selected now, that is from 10.2 to 10.100. If you want to, you can say exclude some IP address which we do not want to assign to the client. That can be particularly added into the exclusions. You can add a exclusion range or you can add an individual IP. I will add an individual IP. Suppose I do not want to give the IP address 10.10 to anybody, then I will type this IP address and I will say add. So now this IP address will be excluded from assigning to the client. So any client will not get this IP address because I have excluded this from the scope now. Then click on next. The next is the lease duration, for how much time the IP address which we are assigning to the client will remain with that client. So you can assign the lease. Generally, the lease will be in an organization, they keep it for 8 hours or 9 hours. That is the shift hours which are there. So basically after 8 hours, the IP address may get changed. So the IP address which is assigned to a client will always remain for the lease duration which you have given. Then click on next. Then it is saying that whether you want to configure these options, like you want to activate this particular scope and everything. So I will say yes, next. You have to enter the default gateway IP, so that this default gateway IP is also assigned to all the devices or the systems or the clients which are connected in your network. So I have given the IP address of my, you can say, the router or the server. I will click on add. So everyone, when they will get the IP address assigned to them, along with that they will get this default gateway also assigned directly from the DHCP server. Then click on next. If you have a DNS server IP address available, you can type the IP address and you can add it. If you do not have, you can just keep it as it is blank. Click on next. If your company or organization is using a Win server, you can type the Win server IP address and you can click on add. If you do not have that, you can just click on next. Now it is asking whether you want to activate this scope now. I will say yes. I will click this option. By default it is yes only. Then click on next and then finish. Once you click on finish, you can see now the scope is created. If you click on that particular scope, now you can see the options which are available. Address pool. If you click on address pool, you can see the address pool is from 10.2 to 10.100, and this is the IP address which is excluded from the distribution. So when the distribution of IP address will be done from 2 to 100, this IP address will be excluded from that particular range. Now if you want to give some reservations, or you want to you can say have some reservations inside the assigning of the IP address, right click the reservation, click new reservation. I will say the reservation name as boss, because boss has actually given me information that the IP address which is 10.50 has to be assigned to his system, because 50 is the lucky number for him, and that's why I will reserve that particular IP address for boss. So I have assigned the IP address over here. But now for this purpose, we should know the MAC address of the, you can say, the system which is used by my boss. So if I know the MAC address, by knowing the MAC address, I can type the MAC address of my boss machine. I will just give an example, like this is the MAC address I have, you can say, retrieved from his machine by using the ipconfig all command. And then once it is done, you can type the IP address which has to be reserved to which particular MAC address device, and then click on add. So once you click on add, now the reservation is created. You can see, if you click on reservation, this is the reservation for the boss. So if you go to address pool now, you have seen this is the range, this is the IP which is excluded, and in that pool now, this is particular the reservation which is given. So this is the reservation what we have done for the boss PC. So this IP will be always assigned to the boss machine, and this will not be allocated to any of the clients which are connected in our network. So this is all about, you can say, the DHCP configuration. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope this video will help you to gain more information, and thank you very much.